Hey everyone, Tyler here. Now that I'm about halfway through my Kickstarter, I thought I'd give everyone one continuous shot of all the progress I've made, the functionality, and the tools that I plan to include with the host. So what we've got here is a 10-inch host. When I zoom in here, you'll be able to see all the different tools I've got. For example, quick access to the Wi-Fi SSID and password, the weather, I've built a little widget there, and I've got a couple of widgets here that actually control different aspects of my system. Using a Home Assistant backend, I can control thousands of different devices. It's more a matter of just building the different libraries. For example, I've got a Belkin switch. I've got a Nest unit, a Harmony remote, Roku. Each one of these is all being controlled by this device itself. And I'm building the front end to make it so you can see how everything goes. So, for example, I can go here. I can turn all my lights on. You'll see it's turned the different switches on. It's also triggered a context space. I can turn each one of these individually on and off. I can also control my Nest. So if I turn my heat up a couple of notches to 68, you'll see it's actually controlled that one there directly. And I can even, if I want, turn the TV on. So that's going to go and that's going to send the command to turn my TV on. What it's also going to do is trigger the command on my Harmony remote for Watch TV. So there you go. TV is watching. Now, to give you more extra functionality to each one of these, I've got a few different tabs at the bottom here too. So if I change my page to, let's say, the TV page, you'll notice it's still loading, but what it's doing now is populating it. So TV is playing. That's the activity. The input should be to HDMI 1. So if you want to give your guests key to what how to actually control the TV themselves, these are the different settings. And then this is the remote they should be using. Now, because I have full control of the Roku, the remote, all of that, I can go in and I could say, oh, Netflix is installed, HBO Go, each one of those. I want to watch Netflix. By pressing that button, it's going to control my TV now to trigger the watch Netflix option. So now Netflix is loading up. The thing about having everything built in now is I've got context-based settings. So now I've got full control of Netflix. I can go through and I can control which one I want to use, hit select. I've got volume control. And another thing you'll notice is it's telling me I have to use this particular remote to control the Roku. So that's basic control, all being housed in here. Add a few other settings. For example, because I have control of Alexa devices and Spotify, I can go and I say, oh, I want to listen to a certain soundtrack. By hitting Greatest Showman soundtrack, now my Alexa is going to start playing it in the background. Again, I've got full control, play, pause, next, all of those. If you'll notice, I've tried to make this Airbnb friendly. I want to be able to sell this to Airbnb hosts so they can give their guests ease of use, that kind of functionality. So I'm going to show you what each of those different tools is. So if I go again to the home screen, and I'm going to refresh my page as if I'm walking into a brand new house. I walk in, I come in, and I see this on the counter. Check in. You should be checking in to this system. By hitting that, now it's going to ask me, give it a second while I wait for it to check in. It's going to ask me, what do I want my smart key, my lock at the front to be? I can set my own code now so I feel safe so that previous guests don't know what my code is. I feel safe for the duration of my stay. I'm going to go ahead and set one. Hit enter. It's going to give me a quick little reminder. This is your new key code. I can also add functionality so it can text me that number directly. I hit that, and it's actually going to keep that down here for me. So for the duration of my stay, if I happen to forget, there it is set for that. I've also added different settings, especially for Airbnb guests, where you can have your local favorites page. So where should I go for brunch or dinner or breweries? And each one of these is all going to be customizable based off of who it is or where it's being installed. And again, this is all built right into it. Brief little description, make it easy. Okay, these are the different things I want to see. Now, one of the things that I'm really striving for, something that kind of geared all of this, is ease of use. If anybody's familiar with home automation kits, especially Home Assistant, You can add just about anything, add all sorts of different scripts, but you need a decent amount of coding experience. I want to bring home automation to the typical or the casual user, somebody who isn't familiar with scripting and doesn't want to learn it. They just want to be able to build their own simple setup here. So what I've done is I've started working on a control panel. So if I slide this to the side and bring my laptop up here, you'll notice here's my panel, my music panel. I can go in now and say, oh, I want to add a switch for my TV. Hit that. I can drag it around, move it where I want, scale it up and down, do all sorts of different settings where now I can build my own user page. So if I go back, if I go here now and say, okay, I want my light switch here, my playlist here, or for example, I don't want this anymore, bring it over to the trash, it's gone. I want to change some settings on the switch. So I want it to look like a power bulb, maybe change the label, some settings. And all of this is functionality that I want to implement into the setup, but this is what takes time. This is why I'm doing the Kickstarter, because if I reach my goal, that tells me there's a need in all these tools, and I can develop them further. So then all you need to do is buy the host, install it, say I've got a Logitech remote, I've got Belkin switches, I've got a Nest, whatever it is you have, you just a couple of check marks, maybe log into your Nest account, and everything's going to be ready to go. Drag, drop, some preset tablets, all of that. I want to make this super simple for anyone to use, and my goal is to make it a one-time purchase. You buy this, install it, and it's ready to go. Some other things that weren't mentioned is it's got its own server built into it, which means it doesn't need to reach out to the internet for a lot of things to control. And it also means that this page can be loaded on multiple devices or even my phone. So as I'm walking through, I can toggle and say, hey, I want to see this window, I want to see this window, and actually control it from my phone, multiple phones, and none of that is an additional purchase. It's all going to be built right into this. So hopefully that kind of covered everything that I've got going. And again, if you want to see this happen, come to life, support my Kickstarter, a couple bucks, even buy one, anything's going to help. I've got 2 weeks left, please, and thank you.